Yo, 99 Toyota Sienna van. AC doesn't work. I found a leak in the condenser, so I'll be replacing it. There's a high side line I gotta unbolt way down there, so this fan's kind of in my way. So I'm gonna take this fan off first. I got a connector here. Unplug that, and there should just be three 10mm bolts. There's two on the top and one on the bottom. I'm going to try to get this out without taking out the upper radiator hose. And I'm going to have to take out the upper radiator hose. I got a drain pan under the car because this is going to get a little messy. Yeah, now I can get at this refrigerant line right here. Get that thing to stop dripping on me. Looks like a 22mm and a 19mm to get this nut off of here. And of course I shouldn't have to tell you to drain the AC system because there shouldn't be anything in it. I got two 12mm for this radiator support. I just want to move this radiator out of the way, and this relay box is kind of in my way. There's a little tab right there that you push in so you can slide this out, and it's actually broke on this one. It's laying in there, but it's busted. That tab right there. I'm going to kind of squirrel this out of the way, and then I should have enough room to get this out. On this other high side pressure line, I got to get this 10mm bolt off. Once in a while on these Toyotas, this thing corrodes in here and they like to break. I always like to use a power tool on this because either it'll break or it won't, and a lot of times you end up twisting the line if it's stuck really bad. So a power tool will just knock that thing right off. And if you got to use hand tools, you probably got to put a pair of pliers on this top line to keep it from twisting, but usually they come right off. And I got lucky. There, that's out of the way. I don't know for sure if you got to take the grill off or not on this, because you got two 10mm bolts here that you got to take off. This thing doesn't have a grill on it, so I don't have to do any of that. Oh crap, and it broke. Ever so carefully. Try to get this thing out of here without bending any lines over there. Thankfully, this came with the brackets and the rubber grommets on the bottom, so I don't have to swap any of that out. I'm going to leave these caps on it because there's either vacuum or pressure in these, and it's a sealed system right now, and I'm going to leave them on until I bolt this all together. There's a little alignment peg in here too. You got to line that up. This one doesn't line up very good because I think somebody crashed the car. So I'm just going to do the best I can with what I have. I replaced these O-rings. This condenser didn't come with any, but I replaced these O-rings and I lubricated them with refrigerant oil. Now I can take these caps off. You will hear them leak because they are sealed. They do that to make sure there isn't any moisture or anything that's going to get in here. Looks like there's a different size nut on this one. Aftermarket downsized to a 17mm. Try not to twist these lines. They don't need to be really tight because the O-ring is what seals all of this. You just got to make sure it doesn't loosen up or turn. If you don't know what to do about the O-rings too, I got a lot of them laying around because I've done this so many times, but there's a universal O-ring kit that you can buy at the parts stores. And you should have all the ones you need in the kit. It's just a big bag assortment of different O-rings for air conditioning. Wow, that just fell right in like it's too short now. I gotta find a longer bolt. I didn't want to have to go to the hardware store to get a bolt, so I just did that. I found a really long one in my bolt box and put a bunch of nuts on it to make it the right length. I'm not going to use an impact to put this back on. I'm going to put it on by hand. Using an impact to put it on would be a bad idea. If I was to guess, I'd say this has to be tightened down to about 8 foot-pounds. It doesn't need to be super tight. I'll be replacing this accumulator next. These are cheap, and it's a good idea to replace it. Those are just 10 millimeters, and these you just give a wiggle, pull them up. The 10 millimeter clamp down here. You shouldn't need to take it all the way out, just loosen it up a little bit. I got the new one here. I replaced these O-rings and I put a good amount of lubricant on them. I'm going to add my refrigerant oil into this. I got a nice clean funnel. And generally, if you have a really big leak, you want to put at least 3 ounces of oil back in the system, because they lose oil when they leak. I got an 8-ounce bottle of PEG 46 with dye oil. I'm going to put about half a bottle in here. I'm going to throw 4 ounces in here. And it's going all over the place. I can get it in there. I just got to put it in real slow. I got 3 to 4 ounces in here, and it looks like no more will go in this thing, so I'm going to leave it right where it's at. I shouldn't need to top this off with much. Now, in case you have a hard time finding the cold side line, it's buried way down there. I got this Harbor Freight vacuum pump. It seems to work pretty good. I'm going to evac this thing. I'm just going to plug this into compressed air until it pulls a whole bunch of vacuum. I just opened this valve. I sucked vacuum. I got a little over 25 inches of vacuum. And then after I got that, then I close this back off, and I'm going to leave it sit for a good half an hour and make sure it doesn't leak down at all. Well, it's been holding vacuum for a good half an hour. I'm going to hook up this high side pressure line. Fill this sucker up. Calls for 28 ounces. I got a scale here I can use. I broke down and bought a male scale for my refrigerant. I'm moving up in the world. Well, I got about 1 pound 12 ounces in here. 25 on the low. Looks like about 140 on the high side. That seems to be where it wants to be. I got the little bubbly thing. There's a little window in here that's making bubbles. And that's what it's supposed to do with R134. So I'm going to call this good. Okay, bye.